at 7 p.m.
Call to order.
Call to order and then pledge allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The third item is the approval of minutes from the March. Oh, sorry. I'm going to start with saying we had an executive meeting. No official business was taken, and we signed diplomas. The third item is approval of minutes from the March 17th, 2026 board meeting. Could I have a motion and second to approve?
I'll make a motion. We approve the minutes from the March 17th board meeting.
I'll second.
Any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. The fourth item is approval of claims and payroll for the month of April. Could I have a motion and second to approve?
I make a motion that we approve the claims and payroll for the month of April.
Could I have a second?
I'll second it.
Any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. The fifth item is principal report.
Last Friday, we had over 100 visitors to our second grade wax museum. If you did not attend, you missed it. It was a wonderful opportunity for our students. They worked really hard to research and to prepare presentations, and they came in costumes, and the entire community came out to support them. It was a wonderful event, and we just want to thank Mrs. Tarman, Chaprinskas, and Guestwine for hosting that special event for our students and families. It was a great turnout.
What was it again? It was called
Our wax museum.
Wax
Mhm.
museum.
So they have a
Okay.
little button, and so like they might dress up as Martin Luther King, and they
Yeah.
have a button, and when you hit the button, then their character comes on, and they read a little speech about their history and their contribution and all things. And so it was just wonderful. So yeah, and we also are excited to announce that Mrs. Drexler's class won the Genus House Duck Derby, and so they sold little ducks that won on the creek. That class gets to earn a
This
pizza
creek? This creek?
Corden. But
It's
anyway, it's
easy
just
now.
a fundraiser for them. So we're excited that it's still one of our Lanesville classes. And our big at recognized again in the state of Indiana for 95% students passing iRead. And this is a joint effort. This is a joint effort, all of our staff, our parents, and our students just working really hard to come together to do all things to support phonics and phonemic awareness and to build comprehension and to just reader. And so just a great shout out to our entire community. It definitely takes a village to raise a child, and it takes a community to make a reader. And I think all of us kind of come together year after year to support all of our students. We only have 1 month of school left. It's hard to believe that. But we are wrapped up in all things end of the year: field trips, testing, field days, year-end celebrations. And so please just stay current with our newsletter. It's posted through our newsletter. It's also through the Parent Square, so that you have all things end of the year so you can celebrate all of our hard work together as a community at the end of the year. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Always had a big red bullseye on that last day of school. Not that it
No,
matters.
I mean, when you
looking
get down to
forward
fingers
to
and
that.
toes worth of days left, it's
telling
hard
you.
not to count them. So,
bullseye on that day.
good evening, everyone. We are moving right along in the middle of fourth quarter. Sorry, we're still in the middle of testing. I say that. I think I've been saying that at every board meeting since about February, but it is a lot of testing. So we have checkpoints. We have our summative that we're in the middle of right now. I wanted to give a shout out to Candace Kalin, who is doing a lot of work and putting in a lot of effort, making sure accommodations are met, checking teachers' rooms, making sure packets are put together. That is a lot of effort on top of her other duties. And so she does it pretty flawlessly now, and she's getting it down pat. So
Your testing is eighth all the way up to
Candace does the 5th through 8th.
Fifth, eighth?
Yeah, for iLearn. We also have SAT.
Right.
Ninth grade biology does one as well, which is later on, but it's just a lot. So it's in the middle of testing and trying to schedule, and then we also are wrapping things up for the year, and so we've got a lot of things planned for our kids as well. I'm also going to give a shout out to Robin Morgan, who will be speaking here later on, but she is in the middle of trying to get kids to graduate, checking credits, running test scores, all of these things. We missed when we had our snow day last month, a job fair in Corden, and that is a box that every student has to check to graduate. And so in the last 2 weeks, she threw together 30 businesses that are going to be coming here April 30th. It's for students only, but it is really going to be a good opportunity for our kids to get out in front of some of these local businesses. And if they don't end up with a job, I mean, some of them are ready to hire right now, but if they don't end up with a job, it's at least a really good networking opportunity for our students. Maybe even a couple from other schools who had students that were absent that day. So it's good to get those connections built and kept those current in case we ever need something. They may be there for us too. So thank you, Robin. Academic Awards Banquet will be this Saturday starting at 6 o'clock. We have guest speaker Evan Peel who's coming, and so we're excited about that. That's a really big night for students. We've actually raised the criteria to get into that, but we still have an enormous number of students that are able to attend, and so we're looking forward to that. I want to say thank you to the Heritage Committee for helping us get tables for that banquet, and for the career fair, they also helped to give us chairs. We have the FFA banquet was this past weekend, and our new teacher, Georgia Brumley, did a really good job organizing that. I think I talked with Audrey. I wasn't able to attend, but I talked with Audrey, and she said there wasn't a doubt in her mind. Things were running smooth. She had it in control and even was an auctioneer there for a little bit. So that was pretty cool.
She did a great job.
We are getting to the finish line. Graduation is coming up. Before that, we've got so many things. Seniors have got a lot of stuff planned. We've got Polly's Day, Kings Island, senior sunsets. They're painting over their parking spots, and just tons of activities that are coming up in about 5 weeks. And so things start really moving quick. I'll give the rest of the time to one of our teachers, Dylan Hampton, who runs the Genetic Disease Project. It's a really cool experience for kids to come up. They dress to the nines, and they do a lot of research with Daniel Cox, our science teacher, and he's going to talk a lot more about that. So thank you all.
Hello. That's working. Yeah, I'm Dylan Hampton, Mr. H, Ham Dizzle, whatever you want to call me. And so the Genetic Disease Project has kind of been left up to me and Daniel this last year, and I guess the previous year. And it usually takes the entire third quarter. And we kind of change it up this year. So usually what they do is the first week they spend a little bit of time learning how to research, and then they spend a few weeks learning how to write a paper, and then they spend the last few weeks learning how to create a presentation and present it themselves, and then they present it in front of the whole school, and it's broadcasted to the whole school. This year I decided to change it up a little bit, and with my kind of passion for media literacy, I spent a lot more time on the research aspect of it. We spent time talking about, fake news, talking about AI, stuff like that, to help prepare students for the ever-changing media landscape and their exposure to social media, stuff like that. And then we moved into the actual research for their genetic disease paper until finally they had a week to prepare their presentation. And this year, I thought it went super, super well. I'm always probably just as nervous, if not more nervous, than the students every time we do this. I know there's like kind of this weight of expectations because it's been going on for so long, far longer than I've been here. And all of the students showed up like prepared. I had students before who I thought weren't even going to show up because they were so nervous, and then they showed up and gave maybe the best presentations of the entire day. we tried a different way of broadcasting it to the school, which was a little shaky at first, but then once we got it figured out, it was great. Leaving and talking to all the other students that watched it, they thought they did really well. A big part of it is we invite guest judges every year. I know Sharon was there, but this year I have a friend that works for the governor's office, so he came down. He was the former. If you would have asked him a year ago, he would have been the executive director of the Indiana Republican Party. So that's like the head of the Republican Party, other than the governor, as well as somebody from our local representative's office to come watch. So some big names. And overall, I think the students really, really enjoyed the process, even if they hated it for most of the time. I think it overall just went really, really well. So thank you.
Was your friend Matt Huckabee?
What was that?
Was your friend Matt Huckabee?
No, it's Josh Waddell.
Okay.
Matt Huckabee went to Lanesville, and he was a vice president or vice chair of the Indiana Republican Party.
I taught him too.
You taught him too?
I taught Matt Huckabee. I did.
The next item is number 6, superintendent's report.
Yeah, thank you. I'd like to start off. Ms. Morgan's going to present to you guys new high school diploma regulations. Years ago, for so many of us, we had to get 40 credits or 42 credits, and that was it. You had to pass them. Then starting with my group in 2000, you had to pass an exam. Then we've done 1,000 different things and pathways, and now what the state has thrown at us is incredibly complex. And I sit in a lot of meetings with superintendents and building principals, and it's difficult for us to comprehend how all this is going to work. We have a wonderful resource in Miss Morgan. She understands it about as well as anybody I've heard in our area or throughout the state on what is going to be required, and especially for small schools. And so once we get technology worked out a little bit, Ms. Morgan is going to kind of walk through with you the best that she can what these diploma regulations are going to look like. And they are difficult to follow because it is a complex system. Ms. Morgan?
As everybody knows how long this is. You will see, depending upon the age of your children, that some of you guys probably are aware of the older diplomas, 440, academic honors, tech honors. Those are still around because I have this year's seniors and 2 more grades after that. So we're trying to juggle the new with the old. So there are different.
So this affect this year's freshman then? This
Yes, and
yeah.
so you have the base diploma, which now is the 440. Okay, the new is the Indiana diploma. With the Indiana diploma, that is your basic diploma. Okay, so that will get them the minimum that they need to graduate. You have the enrollment. So you have the honors and the honors plus. Those are for students who are considering college. Okay, they will be on those. You have the employment. You have the honors seal, honors plus, which I'll go through both of those. What that means, the difference between those. Employment, those are going to go directly into the workforce. Just because they are employment doesn't mean they cannot go to college. Because some of the students, just like now, they'll double up and do tech and the academic honors. So some of the kids, even though they may be focusing on the employment going to Prosser, maybe staying here working on a pathway, they can still go to college. Then you have the enlistment, which are going to focus more on those students that want to go to the military. So they've changed it, trying to meet the needs of more students. Some of the things that we do have conversations with, it's myself, it's teachers, it's staff, it's administration. Some of the conversations that we've started having with students is, What are your career goals? What are your interests? Okay. What are your goals? College. Are you talking about going to college? Are you not going to college? Are you going into the workforce? Are you thinking about both? What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? Because in the 7th grade, that is when they begin declaring the diploma. Okay, the state of Indiana now is going to be part of the future accountability, is that they have to have a graduation plan initial in 7th grade. And so I had met with all the 7th graders, 8th graders, 9th graders, as well as had a community meeting to kind of go over this. So they are having to declare. Does that mean they're locked in? Absolutely not. Okay, there is some flexibility to these. But again, these are conversations we have to continue to have with these kids because it is a little more difficult to switch between them the farther that they get. Getting them to switch view. All right, so the base diploma. So it doesn't matter what diploma type that you're going for, you have to have the base to that. And then you build upon this base depending upon if you're going to add an honor seal to them. So your base, you have 8 credits, 4 years of English. They have added a communications credit to that, and then the additional English. Then you have math, the 7 credits. This is where it's a little bit different now versus the Core 40. Core 40 was Algebra 1, Algebra 2, Geometry that the kids were having to take. For the base diploma, they have to have Algebra 1 no matter what, a personal finance, and then additional math courses. Okay, so it could be geometry and business math. But if a student is planning on college, but maybe they can't quite get the honors, then we have to encourage them, you're gonna have to do Algebra 1, Algebra 2 geometry, because that's the baseline for, say, IUS. So again, that's when I said that slide 4, we really have to work with them, determining what they wanna do. Science, they have to have 7 credits. There are some differences in them now. Biology, doesn't matter. All of them have to take biology. Doesn't matter what diploma type they're on. They've added a computer science credit to that. Here's where it starts to get different. If they're a sophomore and they're doing enrollment, they used to be able to do, for academic, they could do integrated chem physics or they could do chemistry. They are required to do chemistry. So that is something that's different with this diploma type. Social studies, the 5 credits. You have your world perspectives, which would be like world geography and history and world history. U.S. history, 2 credits, and then U.S. government. Okay, they have not added the economics piece unless they are doing enrollment. PE, ours take that in the 8th grade, so they have their high school credit. It's 1 instead of 2 now. Health and wellness, again, that's 8th grade. That has not changed. Preparing for college and careers, that's 1 credit. Also that they're having, we'll be doing that, focusing that more on the freshman year. After this year, it was like when we started this diploma, we were trying to add what we knew the state was going to require. Again, this is like seems like an ever-changing thing, unfortunately. So a lot of times we're having to kind of change on the fly with what the state says. But hopefully that freshman year, after this year, it'll be freshman instead of freshman, sophomore. We've had some teachers had to shift stuff, and we really appreciate what they've had to do to make this possible because, like I said, we're juggling 2 different diplomas right now. To be able to gauge them a little bit, run a lot of interest inventories, getting people in. I think that's like with the college and career fair. I'm excited about that. Our freshmen are going to be going to that. Our sophomores, maybe they can, meet with them, talk with them a little bit. And then you have to have 12 credits, what they call personal electives. This is where we want them to focus on things that may be of their interest. If they are talking business, getting them in business courses. If they're talking agriculture, science, whatever. Okay, and then 42. If they do the base Indiana, they still have to do something. This is very similar to what we are doing right now. All of our students that are academic, tech, and core 40. So our sophomores, juniors, seniors, they have to have not only their diploma credits, but they have to have a little bit more. They have to show they have a diploma. They have to have either work-based learning, service. In other words, what are they doing besides just getting credits at school? Okay, that's that second box. The third box is that post-secondary readiness competencies. They can achieve this with SAT, ASVAB if they're going military, the CTE concentrators, as well as AP and dual credit. So even though they're based, they still have to do a little bit more. Okay, our students are pretty familiar with that already. All right, the enrollment honor seal. So again, base diploma, adding to it. So world language. It used to be they had to have 6 credits of world language. Now it's 4 credits. We still encourage them to take that 3rd year because that's when they're getting college credit. Okay, the Spanish 3, the Spanish 4. I mean, you're talking 14 credits from college for that, which also counts toward the Indiana College Core. Specific credits, 6 social studies credit, 1 additional, that's where the econ can come in. 8 credits, you'll see this, Algebra 1, Geometry, Algebra 2, and then an advanced math. 7 science credits, so the biology, there's where the difference is. They have to take chemistry now. There's no way around it. And then 3 additional, being advanced lab. We've had to get a little creative with some of this, hoping moving in the future to be able to add more electives, because that is one of the things with having to do so much of all of this. There's so much that are required, it kind of starts to cut into electives. So that's kind of our thing. We're really trying to be creative, thinking about how can we do electives. They have to have the C- or higher, and then they have to complete one of the following. Okay, AP credits, college credits, combination of it, or a score of 1250 on SAT. And that's a certain combination of the reading, writing, as well as the math. Okay, if they do a plus, here's something that's very different. So they can do the honors, but then they can add up on it. We have a lot of students that I'm seeing more and more that are getting the Indiana College Core, which is wonderful. That is their first year of college taken care of. Okay, we offer everything here at Lanesville except for science, and that is the one we're working on, seeing what we can do to get a dual credit science in here. So this is something that's not different for them. Here's where it's different. Okay, is the work-based learning. This is a piece that we've had to learn right along with the students. Okay, they do this, they have to get all those credits, plus one of these, plus they have to complete at least 75 hours of work-based learning. Okay, there's different ways that they can achieve that. But one of the things that I had to stress to the kids now is that we have to know ahead of time. They can't just go, oh, I worked over the summer, here's what I have. There's a training agreement that has to go into place between us, the student, the parent, and the site. So there's going to be a lot of monitoring that we're going to have to do with this. And then they have a verification now that this they can communicate, collaborate, and have work ethic skills. That can be completed by myself. It could be by administration. It could be by a teacher, someone that knows the student and can sign off on that. Unemployment honors. That is, they can either earn a market-driven credential, CNA, welding. Those are just some examples. 3 courses in a career and technical education CTE pathway. Here we have our agriculture pathway. We have our business pathway. Hopefully someday we can add some more pathways to our students here. And then Prosser. We normally have a high percentage that attend Prosser. So they can fall into this. Here's the difference. Instead of 75 for the honors employment, they have to 150 work-based hours. Okay, and it says top 3 experiences. They look at the top 3 that they have done as far as hours. They can't use 4, they can't use 5, it's 3. So we have to be very careful in that they're not doing one that's 10, one that's 100, and another one that's 20. That's only 130, they don't get it. Okay, they can't add another 10 here, okay, within those three. Again, here's another one, demonstrate that verification form, the attendance goal. They may complete all of this, but in the 4 years that they're here, if they have no years where they have 3 unexcused absences or less, they do not earn that. Okay, so attendance is a huge piece, and that's just part of the whole work ethic. Okay, showing up. And then you have the Employment Honors Plus, where you're adding on top of that, and that one is 650 hours. So here's where they're also going to have to earn one of these. A lot of them, if they're Prosser, they'll get the technical certificate. Some of our Prosser students also get Indiana College Board. Instead of 150, now it's 650 work-based hours. So again, they're going to be starting way early. We're looking at kids probably sophomore years starting in on these. Okay. Enlistment. They have to complete one of the following. So these are our students that are thinking about military. Okay, what can they do to prepare them for that the best that they can? There's an introduction to public service course. Again, like I said, we've tried to do what we can. We put together an online course for this. For our students, let's say ROTC did not work out in their schedule, or it's like, I'm really not for sure, I want to learn a little bit about it. Okay, they can do the introduction first. Then you have ROTC, it's where they leave here 2 periods a day, go to Floyd. They have to achieve a score of 31 on the ASVAB, and also complete one of the following. Okay, career exploration program. There is one through ASVAB that we can use with the kids at Indiana Career Explorer. Again, here's the other piece. Okay, they do have to meet the attendance goal. Again, no more than 3 unexcused absences of at least one of the 4 years. Hopefully we don't see that. Period. Enlistment Honors Plus, it's adding a higher amount. So instead of a 31, they have to have a 50. Enrolling in ROTC at the collegiate level, they could get it that way. Or acceptance into a service academy, which we know that's the most difficult out of all of those. Some of those, they have to have letter of recommendation, all of that. Demonstrate excellence in leadership through one of the following. Completion of at least 100 hours of public service. They can hold a leadership role in an extracurricular, so maybe they hold an office in student council. They hold an office in National Honor Society. It could be that they're a captain of their basketball, baseball, tennis, whatever it is. Completion of 2 seasons of a team-based sport or activity. Okay, so, anywhere from, we have some students that will do competitive dance, competitive cheer. Maybe they're not here. So all of those ways are ways that they can achieve those. Any questions? I know this one was kind of a condensed version. No, yeah.
Just that way I can look at it. Okay. No, that's fine. Well, I want it right now. Come on, right now. And no, that's good. That's perfect. I'd really have a copy. So.
And where we scratch our heads a lot, Miss Morgan and I've had this conversation 3 dozen times. We've got so many kids that are involved in so many things, church and athletics and you name it. How in the world are they going to find time for some of these hours? It's going to be incredibly difficult. And to say that Miss Morgan has been losing a lot of sleep over this would be an understatement. First thing I do each morning is check my email, and probably at least once a week, I've got an email from Miss Morgan that wasn't there when I went to bed at 10 o'clock, and the time on it was 2:30 in the morning, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning. But she is getting a grasp of this about as well as anybody that I have heard. And so our kids are in really, really good hands, but it is a ton of work. And over the last few years, the state has thrown more and more and more on our counselors, particularly high school counselors. And we thought pathways was bad. We're bad. But going through all of this, it's the tracking that's going to be a nightmare. We're in some conversations now with some programs to help us track it potentially, to help maybe take some of that burden off. We know that high school administrators are going to have to help as well, and we'll see where it goes. But I can tell you, Ms. Morgan has put in countless hours to try to get a grasp of this and give our Lanesville students the best opportunity to get whatever diploma that they want. And so your hard work is greatly appreciated. I know it's just starting, but I wanted you to come show the board and the community some of the things now you're having to dive into while trying to still juggle the old diploma tracks.
I have a question. Do athletics count as some of this? Does it accumulate on some of this stuff that you have to have?
Not as far, it can count towards some of them, like on this one, holding a leadership role in an extracurricular activity. That's where it can count, or the 2 seasons at team base. It can count. The thing with that is, it may not count toward work-based learning, which it will not.
Okay.
But it can, as I told the kids, you still want the involvement, because the colleges are also looking at how involved were you here at school. And so that's why, keeping up, Renaissance, student council, athletics, those things can count towards.
Well, some of those hours don't necessarily require after-school stuff. It's during the school period, right? So
some of our kids, like this year, we've got 3 students doing co-op.
Okay.
So they meet with me, or they did. They had to meet for almost 60 hours. We met from 7 in the morning to 7:45, 3 days a week.
Mhm.
And then they left a half a day to go do work-based.
I've got a question. It's probably going to be hard to answer. What's the chances of them keeping this the same for the next few years? So it gets to be normalized.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I think that has been the hardest thing. And it's not just for me, it's for the team also. Because we have had to shift gears so quick, because now we're on 2 totally different diploma tracks, if you want to call it that.
Yeah.
We still have an academic tech. And then now we're throwing this piece in. We're a small school. And so we've had to be very creative, and some people have had to be very shifting on stuff. It's been hard.
In the next 3 years, we're on the old one. I'm gonna mix the mingle in.
I'm not saying it's going to happen.
But some of the pieces, they are changing it. I know Dr. They have to tonight, but the whole accountability pieces, when we're looking at the accountability piece, just like with us, there's going to be changes, even though they have all of this. Now we're adding, like with the CTE concentrators, they're looking at those toward the end of the sophomore year of having to have those in place. Where now we're looking at, by the time they're a senior, creating that 3-course pathway. Some of them now, they have to have that pretty well the end of the sophomore year to count towards accountability. I guess that's like the bonus of it. Just like this year, having the 7th grade, having that initial graduation plan in the 7th grade signed off on, that's part of the accountability too. So I don't think these are going anywhere. I just think they're going to add things.
And one thing you have to remember when you're looking at work-based learning, internships, those kinds of things, everybody now is having to do that. And so our kids are going to be competing against other kids, but also college students. And so, one thing we always have to keep our mind on is, heaven forbid, there's an economic downturn and businesses go out of business. And when we're fortunate here, being next to New Albany, Jeffersonville, Louisville, we have more industry. If you're in a rural area, it's very, very difficult. And we're talking, people in Crawford County and Washington County and throughout the state, they're having a really, really hard time trying to figure out how in the world they're going to get all of this done. And so we're fortunate there, but again, probably we're most fortunate to have Ms. Morgan leading this charge for us.
You got to track that. You got to track each one of these kids from 7th grade on. Is once that starts, you're tracking freshmen now. and making sure they're checking all the boxes. Is that part of that self-examination, or do you have to sit down with each kid and do that, or you get?
Depending on their diploma type, yes.
Okay.
I mean, as far as like getting the work-based learning, all of that.
Yeah, because you got to make sure they're hitting all the marks.
And if they're not hitting the marks,
How much?
what do we need to do?
Yeah, because okay.
And that's what I said. It's going to get more and more difficult to change those tracks. I don't care what the state says. When you get that sophomore year, junior year, if they decide, okay, I can't do enrollment, I can't, I'm going to switch to the employment.
Yeah.
Well, now you're talking a sophomore, junior even. Now, if you may have to, you just the hour. Well, I can get, you get the 225 with co-op.
Yeah.
But now you got to add all those other hours. So
What about transfers in from other states?
they would still have to do that.
Question back there, Doug. Get stuck at the end. Yeah.
Yeah, we are, I know I have been working also, but I'm working with different also as far as like auditing, being able to have something where they can kind of manipulate and kind of see where they're at, which is like their student login. And so parents would be able to see that and be able to see, okay, they're green here, here's their diploma track. Like I've already entered all their diploma tracks in Harmony. And so our hope, and we're trying it now, is once that track is in there, can we open that up to where students and parents can see it? To be able to see, okay, this is all green, oops, they're red here. That means they didn't meet this piece, so we're gonna have to have that conversation. Yes. 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 So that is that is one thing we are talking about. We actually just talked about it here this time.
I think that'd be great because it's so fast and so you lose sight of where your kid is, who's doing what, where, how much they got.
Yeah. So that is in the works. We're just trying to get it figured out ourselves.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Morgan.
Appreciate it.
Next thing I want to talk, and I know I'm taking quite a bit of time here, but every 2 years, state law requires that we have an audit of finances for the school corporation as well as ECA. Those are two separate audits. In May, we'll talk about our ECA results. I'm going to have Mr. Crawhorn come up and talk about our regular State Board of Account audit that is, again, required by law to do every 2 years. It was really, really pretty good. There's always a finding of something, but ours was, as they said, really quick and easy. And so it costs a lot of money every time, thousands and thousands of dollars.
$17,000.
$17,000 that we have to pay for them to come audit us every 2 years. And that's a hard pill to swallow, but I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Crawhorn. He's going to run through the audit findings with you guys.
I'll be fairly quick this evening. This audit period, like Dr. Apple said, was a regular biannual audit. It was from the period of July 1st, 2023 to June 30th, 2025. Just a little bit of background from our 2021 to 2023. The State Board of Accounts found 3 findings that were deemed worth reporting at the state level. In this audit cycle, we were also found at 3 different things, so kind of a similar type of findings, error reports, however you want to look at it. The 3 main things, the state kind of listed things differently now. So if you go and pull at the State Board of Accounts, if you go look at the audit page, everybody has access to that. It's Indiana State Board of Accounts school audits. You can go look at all sorts of schools. Ours is rather boring. There are some schools that are rather fun, but ours is pretty boring. But they did list a little bit differently. So all 3 of our findings really look like it's under internal controls compliance. which nobody wants to have any findings right, but if there are findings that you want to have, that's the category you want it in. The other ones are like fraud. So there's things that we don't want to see in there. So these were considered internal control compliance. The first two are 100% on like what would be considered my counterpart, Carrie Simler, our HR director, who does payroll and those kind of pieces, and then the finance side, which is my side. The first one was the annual financial report, which we reply. That one's the one that we do once a year. We have two reports that we fill out: the Form 9, which we do twice a year, and the annual financial report, which we do once a year. Within that report, there's a lease and debt schedule, which is basically all the bonds that the school holds against it. There's two types of ways that you have to calculate bond work. And without getting really boring in it, the GO bonds really only use your principal. So you only ever count what's on the principal side of it. And your building corp side only does, or actually does the entire payment. So you actually have to take all the different pieces of your interest and whatever fees and all that kind of stuff that's in there. And you have to add those together when you're doing building corp. So from 23 to 25, we had only been doing it as if it was a GO bond and not building corp. So our 2010 ones were GO bonds essentially and had a different set of calculations, which is how we were calculating it towards unknowingly. We were supposed to be counting it separately. So that left a fairly large error. It was $21,000 of difference once you look at the difference in those recordings. So I now know. Those who don't know, I started in March of 2024, so kind of mid-cycle in here. So I'll work with State Board of Accounts when we go to do our next annual financial report to get it all cleaned up and get it back to the number that it's supposed to be, essentially. The next one was an error on claims. This came within our payroll processing. When we were doing payroll, we switched to a new platform. We went from Computrol, same company, but it's now called Voice Cloud. So now we're all web-based and we can do it over the cloud. When we did that, there was a button that we were supposed to click that generated a report that would also include a payroll sign off with our claims sign off. Your claims are actually your payrolls within your claims each month. So when we approve those all come within those. But there is a form that we were supposed to have the board sign. And to our error, Carrie and I just missed it. We were both fairly new, and sometimes you just got to own a mistake and move on. And it was a button that didn't get clicked, and I didn't know any better to say, hey, maybe we should generate this report. And it ended up being a really important one. So learning curve for myself. Like I said, nobody likes any mistakes, but every now and then you're going to make one, and that was just one that came up from that standpoint. And the last one was over our ADM, and this one's one that we're working with both admin on. It's considered a lack of records. And it falls under three different things. We had some different tests that were performed on residency and age verification. And there can be fairly strenuous. Of the 60 that we were tested for residency, we had 9 that didn't have the proper year tested. So maybe we got it at kindergarten, but we hadn't refreshed it in a while, but we're supposed to do that. And so those were those. And then we had 1 age verification that got missed with no birth certificate for a kindergartner or that. So that got cited. The last thing and the most important part was the ADM process. When we do account right now, well, not right now, but prior to, Dr. Apple would sign off, Mr. Hancock and myself would sign off, but we didn't have any extra layers in there that the state wanted in the past. That wasn't needed. Now it is needed. So starting with this February count, we had the teachers in the room would know that we had them kind of initial their room count for the day, and then it went to the admins, they signed off, and then Dr. Apple and I did our sign off piece. So there's kind of 3 layers that the state wants to see that they weren't asking for before. We've done the same process for ages of times. It wasn't on the last audit, it's on this audit. So again, live and learn on that one. But overall, a really good audit cycle. Speaking for myself, I would love to thank Carrie Simler first and foremost, our HR director. We both started around the same time. I don't know how to do this job without her. She is just amazing at what she does, and she keeps us in check on so much stuff. Dr. Apple's been awesome, from letting Carrie and I go to IASBO conferences, learn all that we can, and support from the board. Like, you guys have been great and ask the right questions, but also don't overwhelm as I was getting started. And then I'd also love, in closing, to just shout out Becky over here. While I'm not up here presenting the ECA portion of it, I could just wrap up in about 15 seconds because we had absolutely no findings from the ECA. So thank you, Becky, for all you do and making sure that we have great controls on the ECA side of things. So
Thanks, Dustin.
Yep.
We like boring. We like that. We like it to be boring.
Yeah, overall, very, very good audit. Really happy, and like the auditor said, from State Board of Accounts, both of them, it was pretty clean, simple, and easy. So they work really, really hard back there.
I think he
Dustin and
did
Carrie do.
a much better job explaining than in the interview.
Yes. Yes. Next thing I kind of want to bring to you guys, and we'll have a few policies in May. Still waiting on the Department of Ed for some guidance on a few things. Then we'll run them through. But one thing I need to bring you guys up to speed on, now there will be, starting July 1, and we have kind of two options for wireless device policies. Students will not be allowed from the time they come in, and you have two options: to have their cell phone, their smartwatch, if anybody has the Meta glasses, your Fitbit, if it tells you that you have a call or a text message or any of those things. Students are not allowed to have them on them during school hours. They have to be secured and away from the students. There are really two options. We got some guidance from the School Boards Association over the last couple of weeks. Two different sets, two different directions, way to go. I don't know of anybody that's going this route, but somebody may, where you strictly prohibit those things from being on school property. Most are going towards the, you can bring it, that's fine, but when you get here, it's got to be turned off, stored away, those kinds of things. We're seeking some guidance still on what stored away and out of reach means. Does that mean that in the locker is fine, or is that not prohibitive enough? And then what the punishments are going to be. So if you wear your Apple Watch 3 times in the year, is it a lunch detention or are you getting expelled? And so sorting through some of those things, leaning towards bringing a policy to you guys that is not strictly prohibitive, because we know that we've got kids who play sports, who do different things after school. We've got about a third of our kids that are out of district that can't ride a bus home if there's a change. After that, we also know that our offices are going to be very, very busy. So it'll be back in the days when we went to school where people were in long lines to call the office on the office phone. Luckily, we still have those phones in the offices. We still have landlines and one designated for that. But giving you guys that heads up.
That's Senate Road Act number 78 is the one that he's referring to.
Next thing I want to kind of run through with you guys, and I've had some questions, just people with curiosity, and that's why I want to run it through. When we have conversation about Senate Enrolled Act 1, and we know that property taxes, and it's going to hit our operations budget. We've been through a few things, but I've had some people ask me, what that looks like on our utility bills, because we know when school's out, solar panels are going to go up over the summer, and then also things that have operations that we've done through here on improvements, whether through transportation or facilities. So I kind of want to run through some numbers with you guys. In 2021, our total maintenance and walking in, we had a walk-in cooler, some locker rooms, some bus repairs, train contract for HVAC, some equipment repair, snow removal. We had $188,000 that we paid for improvements to the either facilities or transportation, and that was in 2021. And our utilities that year, water, electric, we don't have natural gas running through here, $143,000. In 2022, we paid $248,621 on maintenance of the facility and transportation. Some of the things, UVC air handlers that are up in the elementary was $21,000. Chairs and parking blocks, $31,000. Bus repair, $8,897,000. Some radios, operation of plant management, $17,000. That was the train contract. Equipment repair, $57,000. And then utilities that year, we saw an increase, $175,620. 2023, and I took over July of 2023. Mr. Morris was here the first part. That total maintenance went up to $342,000, so a $100,000 increase. In that 2023 year, we're looking at some of our big ticket things. We really started focusing, putting a lot of money on HVAC repair, and you'll see that over the next few years. $92,000 for that water treatment. Additional HVAC work, another $93,000. Ag HVAC replacement, bleacher repairs, chiller replacements, parts of it, $78,000. And so you see that number going up and up and up as we, over the last few years, really address some things that we've got here that we need to. Utilities costs that year, $156,812. Looking at 2024, you see some of those numbers really go up again. We're looking at almost $500,000 spent on the facility and some transportation that year. A lot of it on HVAC again, almost $100,000 twice. So a lot there. And then $132,859 on utilities. 2025, again, almost $500,000. $452,516 on maintenance. A lot of that, again, working on HVAC. You had some roof repairs, some parking lots, awnings, $36,000. We replaced an oven that was incredibly needed in the cafeteria. They couldn't hardly operate without it. That was $20,000 for that combi oven. HVAC repair, $12,000. Bus repairs, $13,000. Radios, $9,000. HVAC repair, $109,000. Just some of those things. Snow removal always gets us because they get right on it. And Mr. Beckman does a wonderful job, but that was $32,000 that year. So a total of $452,516. And utilities, $188,000. It's hard to tell, but I know we started running our HVAC system a little bit earlier in the mornings, and heater a little bit earlier in the mornings. Just listening to our teachers and some of their concerns. When they walked in the buildings in the wintertime, they thought maybe it was a little too cold. So we started running a little bit earlier. Same thing with the air conditioning in the summertime, both at the start and the end of school. There are other things that probably contributed to that, but we know that's one thing that we have done. And so far in 2026, first quarter, and so we're a quarter of the way through, $97,221 in maintenance around here and $68,000 in utilities so far. So hopefully those utility numbers, we can get those down in the next years to come and free up some more money for maintenance and a few other things. Looking at calendar coming up, want to remind everybody in the sent out through Parent Square, we will utilize an asynchronous day on Election Day. That's Tuesday, is May the 5th. Is that correct?
Yep.
We got a waiver day. We've used 3, but we got a waiver day from the state on the last one. So we're able to then utilize another one on that day. And so kids won't need to be here. They won't need the live instruction from home. They will just have it sent out to them. And just an update to the board and the community. We had our, with the I say new, but not really new, ones that sat on our shelves for far too long. Stop arm camera violations. We had one the other day. We've added one. So there were 3 that the prosecutor's office 4 years ago sent us. We added another one 4 because we've got an additional bus that runs on a state highway. The ones that were corporation buses had them on them. What we have from the prosecutor's office and one we got are honestly a lot better. You can see more clearly. We've had a few stop arm violations, and for various reasons they weren't able to prosecute or cite for. But we did have one the other day that a citation was written for. And so just wanted to make you guys aware of that.
Dr. Applin,
Yes.
On the solar project with the panels going up this summer, has the contractor been able to give you like a revised estimate on, I know when the project first started, there's projected savings based on assumptions.
Mhm.
And as they got into the project, to everyone's surprise, the roof needed a little more attention than we thought. And I'm assuming that affected the number of panels. Did they give you any kind of revised estimate? I mean,
We did at that time. We got it.
Okay.
I can pull it off my emails from you or for you.
was it
um,
significant or just,
It was a little bit, but nothing not to jump at.
okay.
Now I haven't seen anything, since that
Since
time
then.
over the however many months, and as utility costs have fluctuated or done whatever, I haven't seen anything recently, but I can get that for you. Yes.
Okay, thanks. Cataracts, in case anybody's wondering what's he doing with that fashion statement up there.
Okay, that was number 6. The number 7, the PTSO report.
Okay, so we were supposed to have a meeting tonight to go over possible new board members, but we needed to postpone that for next month. So our next board meeting will be May 19th at 6 o'clock in the library. We are getting ready for Teacher Appreciation Week coming up, so we're going to have a lot of volunteer opportunities throughout the week. And then on the high school side, we're going to have the last Eagle Days of the year on May 15th. And then the last thing is we'll be doing drop-off greeting on the last day of school, so another volunteer opportunity.
This is the game thing and all that becomes. Depends who I'm talking
Okay, for number 8, there is no sign up. The next item is approve St. Mary's Church to use 2 of our mid buses on June 13th for their annual picnic. Did I have a motion and second to approve?
I'll make a motion. We approve St. Mary's to use 2 of the mid buses for their picnic.
Is that an earlier time for the picnic? Okay.
Yeah, it's much earlier.
Changing it around.
It's different. Just making sure.
Mhm.
Gotta make sure we understand. That.
Yeah.
It's a 2-day event.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
I think it starts Friday night.
Oh, back up. Say it again. June 12th. June 12th and 13th. So you have 2 days of driving the buses then. Okay, with the dinner. 13. 12, 13. Yeah, got it. So it just says the 13th here for the buses, so we're, okay. I'll second the motion, whatever. Okay, that's fine.
Any discussion? If not, all those
We
in
just
favor-
did.
Any more discussion?
No.
If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. The next item is approved teacher appreciation grant funds to be paid to the teachers selected.
Yeah, and this year that process is very, very different than it's been in the past. It's inception. Any teacher that was either highly qualified or not, highly effective or effective, got a piece of the money. They had to be different. You couldn't pay the same for somebody that was effective as highly effective, but everybody that met that criteria got a piece of the money. What the state has done now is they've increased the amount of money to an individual, and there were 3 different layers, and we went the smallest of the 3 to try to get more money in more hands of teachers. But what it did is it narrowed you down to 20% or no more than 20% of your staff, and it kicked some people out. Miss Morgan was here, and the hard work that she does, and counselors are not allowed to enter that pool, even though they're still part of that collective bargaining unit, and a few others. And it's really sad what happened there. We had those that wanted to potentially get this submit forms to administrators in each building, and then a team of people went through and looked at the applications, and if they met the criteria for the lowest level, then we went from there. What we decided to do is if we had more than, and for us that would have been, I believe, 7 people. If we had more than that, then we were going to do a blind draw, and that's what we ended up having to do. And most people qualified for it, and so we came in here one day, and Mr. Hancock had all the names in a wheel, and we watched that board, and those that were gathered, you waited to see if your name was drawn or not. And so those funds are now in, and we submit all that to the state. They send us the funds. Those funds are in. We need board approval now to pay those that had their name drawn.
How many was that?
I believe 7.
7?
That's
7
good.
teachers with that?
Oh my
Well,
God.
that's good. Huh? Was it bad? Yeah, no, I
Yeah,
hate that
that's
part. I
horrible.
hate that part.
Yeah.
The
And then-
state's
Yeah.
really screwed that
I'm
up.
glad they got the money. I'm just saying that's
Excuse me,
rough.
but
Yeah,
that's true.
get them all, you know. So, yeah.
Jeez.
Okay. All right.
And it's hard to compare the things that they do. If you want to compare a first grade teacher to a PE teacher to somebody that's teaching physics to a special education teacher, it's very, very difficult to compare. And it's really a very flawed system. But they want that competitive model. They want
How many
teachers
were
to
up
go.
for that? You had 7. How many did you say qualified for that?
We had, and there are things that kept you out anyway.
I
So
get it.
if you didn't teach here last year, you were out in a few other qualifying things.
Okay.
Of our 40, I don't know, what do we have, 39 eligible, maybe something along those lines, probably. And I'm just throwing a rough number out, 35 or so. We had a couple people just didn't fill out the application, and some because they weren't here last year or something along those, not enough days. But a vast majority of our teachers were eligible, but you couldn't spread it out anymore.
Well, that does sound bad. Then I'm with you. Then I get what you're saying now that I know how it works. It's like, yeah, really? Okay. But anyway, okay. Yeah. Right. That's all you can do. Okay. I get it. No, it's we fought the battle before with different things, not just that particular one. So, okay. What are you doing?
I'm going to ask for a motion to approve. I'm not going to repeat what Dr. Apple just said.
I'll make a motion that we approve the teacher appreciation grant funds to be paid to the teachers that were selected.
And I will second that motion.
Any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Okay, approve the purchase of a 14-passenger bus in the amount of $120,000 or $120,055.20.
Yeah, and we're really having to pivot on bus purchase. We had plans of we still need probably a couple more large buses. We run into a situation where we are now transporting a variety of students who, through individualized education plans, need to be educated in one of our neighboring school corporations, and that has worked out through the co-op, the special education co-op. Right now, we are using 2 mid buses, just activity buses to run that. The way that laws are is they have to pull into driveways. You can't pick a kid up on the road because those don't have flashing lights. They're not yellow. They don't have the stop arm. Also, there's no chairlift. As we currently sit, we don't need one. But at some point, we very well may. And so what this gives us the opportunity to do and the ability to do, and it's really the right way to do it, is pick kids up, not worrying about, pulling in their driveway, tearing up yards, doing different things like that, causing accidents as you try to get one of those mid buses now then backed out of a driveway, which is very, very difficult. And we're running on Lazy Creek and a few other things where turns are everywhere. And so we got several quotes for those. Curlin came in at $120,000. We've got another quote on an international, and the rest of them came through We got some through the Wilson Center and then reached out to Midwest as well. They've been good partners of ours in the past. The price difference was significant, and we can't go down that road right now. Another one, 130,000, really 131,000, so $11,000 difference. They worked really hard to bring that down from 137, but the gap was still 11,000. Then we've got two more here through the Wilson Center for two different buses, 147,000, 149,000. And so that 120 is by far probably our best bet and fiscally the smartest thing that we can do, but get a bus that we really, really need. So I'm asking for your approval so we can do that. What we got told from Curlin is that we let them know, and then that one is sitting there. Hopefully, we can get it in quicker. Heads up, we've been told that from them in the past, and we waited 8 months, 9 months. So passing that information on, but know that we've been burnt on that in the past as well. But what a 14-passenger yellow bus does is you have to have to drive it. You have to have the bus certification, go through the safety training, but you don't have to have a CDL. And so that may help drive that currently. We have one of our mid buses is driven by two of our route drivers. They get off their route, get on this one, they drive it. Our other mid bus is driven by some wonderful individuals who stepped up because we have been searching and searching and searching. Just wonderful people, Frank Price, Steve Price, and Mr. Sean McLean. They don't have that certification. And so if they want to continue, we will work with them to help them get that, make sure that they get it if they want to drive that bus next year. Depending on where it shakes out, it's got to give you that background.
You said this also has the 5-point harness.
Yes,
system.
it has 5-point harnesses for students who are preschool students in the state of Indiana, and a state requirement that they be in a 5-point harness. Once they hit kindergarten, I don't know what that difference is, that last day of preschool and that first day of kindergarten.
Not much.
But once they do that, they no longer have that requirement, but for preschool students, they do.
And this is a yellow bus with flashing lights and stop arms.
Yes.
So it's just a smaller version of a big bus.
Yes,
So
correct.
That's all it is. And and it's hard to find drivers. And being that you don't have to have a CDL to drive it, which makes it better, that's a good thing. Okay.
Yeah,
So
I think Mr. Burberry said he wanted to really drive the bus.
I thought that's what I thought. I heard him say that. I don't know if that was that you back. I didn't know. Okay, I'll make a motion that we approve the purchase of this bus.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? If not,
Did this cause a modification to the bus replacement plan? Or were you planning on this, or because of the change in requirements with the 5-point harness, or not, we need this, so our plan's gonna be bumped back a year or so?
Yeah.
So this took the place of a larger bus, is what you're saying.
Immediately, yes.
Yes, for
But-
now.
yes. But we still have one more year, and we know we have at least one contract driver that says they're going to drive. What it really is going to do, hold off on bus 10 that we were planning on replacing. We'll probably have to hold on to that for another year.
Right.
Keep that can.
any more discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Okay, number 12. Approve the creation of Harrison County Community Foundation Elementary Fund.
This is something that Dr. Holder and Dustin Crawhorn have worked really, really hard on. We have some money through, and it's sitting right now, called the We Play Project Fund, sitting at $16,841. Nothing in that fund is taxpayer money. That is all money through donations, through, was it not jump rope-a-thon, walk-a-thon, is where that came in at. Looking at how to best utilize that money instead of just throwing it at something. We have several different funds, that we utilize, elementary student fund and those kinds of things. But instead of just throwing the money at something, we know that we want to use it for PE and fine arts. And so the thought is take part of that money, $12,500, work with the community foundation, set up a fund there and it would be matched 1-for-1, correct? And so that 1250, 12500, now you're looking at 25,000 each year, up to 5% could be pulled out. Not needed, it will grow and grow, but even with that, it will still continue to grow and grow and grow. We utilize those through the corporation in a wide variety of things, some maintenance, athletic uniforms, all kinds of things have been set up differently. A lot of times through community members, but I'm really proud of those two and others trying to figure out how to best utilize this money, not waste it just because it's there and not just spend it, but to ensure that it will continue to provide for Lanesville students throughout the years. And so through this process, you won't be able to pull as much, but you're not pulling all of it anyway. But for years and years and years and years to come, it will benefit the students of Lanesville and not just one sitting there right now. And so greatly applaud them for thinking outside of the box on that.
This fund's open, it's eligible for public or private donations as well, right?
Yes.
And they'll be 1-to-1 unless the foundation has a special program where sometimes they do 3-to-1.
Do I have a motion and second to approve?
To approve the establishment of the Lanesville Elementary Fund with the Harrison County Community Foundation.
I'll second it.
Any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Number 13, approve Sandy Denny as full-time cafeteria worker for the 26-27 school year. Could I have a motion and second to approve?
Make a motion, we approve Sandy Denny as a full-time cafeteria worker for next school year.
I'll second.
Any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Number 14, approve the hiring of April Smith as junior senior high instructional assistant. Could I have a motion and second to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve the hiring of April Smith as junior senior high instructional assistant.
I'll second that motion.
Any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Right before the meeting, I was given the names for number 15. Approve the hiring of Mary Matthews for third grade teacher and Ashley Sullivan for sixth grade teacher for the elementary school. Could I have a motion and second to approve?
I'll make a motion, we approve the hiring of those two people for the elementary school,
I'll
third and
second.
sixth grade.
Is this for this?
I'll
This is for
second.
next year, right?
Yes. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Number 16, approve Rebecca Perkins as Assistant Music Director for 2025-2026. Could I have a motion and second to approve?
I'm not clear on that. What is, I thought she was already our music director. What- Talk to me.
Yeah, it's her mother.
Oh. Heather Perkins.
Oh my gosh, I feel so.
For
I'm
for
sorry.
a number of years.
I'll let you on.
You did. Yeah.
Okay.
I got it. It's, yep. I got you. All right. Oh, okay. I'll make a motion. We approve Rebecca Perkins.
I'll second.
Any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Approve FMLA leave for Elena Thompson beginning 10/19/2026. Could I have a motion and second to approve?
I'll make a motion, we approve FMLA leave for Elena Thompson, beginning 10/19. She is the elementary secretary.
I'll second.
Any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Approve addendum to Route 8, Mike Emily, for additional mile, bringing his total route to 43 miles.
Yeah, and
What is that route?
just quickly, just some additional houses.
Okay. Where is that?
Do you have new subdivision, I think?
Okay.
That's what he's picking up.
All right.
But additional houses, and then the contract was based off of the old
Yeah,
mileage, so we
sure.
just need to adjust that for him.
This is at the new subdivision across from the
Yeah.
church? Okay.
Got it?
Could I have a motion and second to approve?
I'll make a motion that we approve the addendum for Mike Emily.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. I'm going to go off script a little bit here. I thought this was a good time. We lost a former bus driver, and Chris Blank, a few weeks ago. He did a lot for the school, and just want to have that family in thoughts and prayers.
Yeah.
Number 19, this discussion on allowing students to take outside courses that are not offered at Lanesville.
Yeah, and this is something that we currently already do in different capacities. We have allowed for years before I got here students to go to Floyd Central for ROTC. Of course, you have Prosser. But what we're starting to see are some partnerships. And again, this is just the start of a discussion as we look forward. But you guys need to really weigh in on this. As we're trying to keep students at Lanesville and still offer some challenging courses or some different courses or courses that may move into a pathway, school corporations have started looking at each other. I know a good example, and I've got a meeting at IUS. Talked to Chancellor a little bit today, but we will meet again next week. Borden and East Washington are looking at partnerships. Some kids going here and there. South Harrison does it within their own corporation. They've asked us before, potentially about some pathways, but there are things already offered at Prosser. So we didn't need it. But there may be some of those things now, whether it's an advanced math class or an advanced science class or whatever that might be, that maybe we can look with New Albany Floyd or South Harrison or North Harrison or whatever it might be, or if somebody's offering it online that we're not with an instructor. It's a discussion we need to have, and probably as they come up one by one. I know we've had an inquiry here recently at the high school level, but we need to, for the future of education, and you saw a little bit of glimpse today on how complex it's getting ready to be. I really think we need to open ourselves up now. What it may cost is a little bit of ADM money. Like we do for years, we didn't pay anything to go to ROTC. New Albany Floyd County in the last couple of years have started letting outside, besides us, we're the only ones, they've opened up to others for ROTC at the two campuses. So now we have to pay some ADM money, and that may be something.
Transportation money as well, maybe?
No, that would be on their own for the most part.
All right.
But it's worth exploring and having future discussions and keeping it on our radar and potentially looking at a policy maybe over the summer on what that might look like. But to keep kids here at Lanesville, we need to start being flexible more and more. And if there's something that we don't offer, encourage kids. Yeah, we want you to be a Lanesville kid. We want you to graduate from here. We want you to be part of our National Honor Society or whatever program it is, or a sport. We recognize that this is a passion that you have, and maybe we don't. We might be able to work something out. I know a big one for us is always performing arts, theater programs. Is it something that we can allow a kid work with North Harrison, South Harrison, New Albany Floyd, a kid go take theater and come back? We need to really start having those discussions and be more flexible. And even if it costs us some ADM money, still keep that kid a Lanesville kid that was a Lanesville kid coming all the way through. Maybe they don't have to make that choice going into ninth grade. I want to be in theater. I'm going to Floyd Central or whatever that might be. And so over the next few months, I want to bring you more information. But hopefully maybe a policy this summer, but then allow us and administrators and counselors to start working with students, start working with other corporations, as long as it fits in those parameters, to allow some of those things to happen.
You see this evolving to a reciprocal type policy? Where we're bringing
Potentially.
kids in?
If we've got something that others don't. And so it could potentially be, we have an extremely strong agriculture department. New Albany Floyd does not. Floyd Central does not. New Albany High School does not. If you've got a student that is looking in that direction, and I know when I was in New Albany High School, we had several kids that wished that there was an FFA. A lot of the river bottom kids down towards the boat wasn't an option for them. Potentially it could be. If there's something you heard Miss Morgan talk about earlier, we're always looking at different things, but we have to be careful because we send half our kids to Prosser, so we can't overextend ourselves like some do. But yes, it could be.
This might not be a right time to ask, but do you see another Prosser popping up somewhere or something similar?
We have had conversations with Prosser about satellite programs through Lifelong Learning, which I'm on the board of. Scott County had those same conversations. Those kind of died because, and I was at Prosser today, Prosser's getting ready to go through 2 phases of expansion again to free up more classroom space. And so right now they're kind of holding off on that. They're scrapping a program or 2, going to add a couple more, but they are freeing up more space to try to help out with that. So that's kind of stalled right now. But in the future, potentially, yes.
Okay, and we don't need to vote on this, do we? You just
No. I just wanted to bring it to your attention
Discussion.
to kind of get it in your minds so that over the next few months, we can start bringing more and have more robust conversations.
Okay, the next item is number 20, approve the 6th grade students field trip to Holiday World on May 21st. Could I have a motion and second to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve the 6th grade field trip to Holiday World.
I'll second
Any discussion? If not, all those in,
Who's going with them? You going? Yeah, you going? Are you guys going to Holiday World with the 6th grade? You get like paid more to go on the 6th grade trip to Holiday World.
And
believe me.
parents,
Been there,
a lot
done
of
that.
parents go.
Fair
So
volunteers.
Yeah.
I think you're being volunteered.
Oh, am I? I thought Doug might be the one. Oh no. No, I can't. I don't have my license anymore. Sorry. Okay, I'm sorry.
any more discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Number 21, approve the high ability field trip to Newport Aquarium on May 5th for the 5th grade and 6th grade high ability students. Could I have a motion and second to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve that.
I'll second.
Any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Number 22, approve the high ability field trip to Indianapolis Children's Museum on May 8th for the 4th grade high ability students. Could I have a motion and second to approve?
I'll make a motion, we approve the high ability field trip to Indianapolis Children's Museum on May the 8th for some 4th grade students.
I'll second.
Any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Number 23, approve the boys' 7th and 8th grade basketball teams to attend Hanover's basketball camp on June 17th and 18th. Could I have a motion and second to approve?
Go ahead.
I'll make a motion.
I'll
Yeah.
second it.
Any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Number 24, discussion of tennis facility renovations.
Yeah, this is something that is probably way overdue.
Yeah.
Our tennis courts, and our tennis courts are not just utilized by our tennis teams, they are used by our entire community and surrounding area. We've got 5 courts over there now. It's hard to drive by unless it's raining or snowing. And if it's a light drizzle, they may still be out there if they want a broken leg. But not to see somebody on it. Sunshine and somebody's playing. We've got some pretty significant cracks. I know in my time here, we've patched them. We've done all kinds of things. Those things wear off. As winters come, there's a little spring down there. We can't probably take that approach any longer. it's a discussion item because it is a significant ticket price. I've got pulled up here. We ran through the Wilson Center on bids, and actually we had one company, AstroTurf, which you don't think of tennis, but one company, they declined to put a bid in because of the scope of the work. We initially thought maybe they had something that would allow us to get another 10 years out of it. And they came back and said, no, that's probably not going to be an option. And so really what we're looking at with the bids that we've got, again, significant. Concrete, tennis court, one of them through Tennis Technology for concrete, $664,000. Asphalt significantly brings that down, $340,000. But that's still a significant chunk of change. But we put that into bleachers. Now we utilized bond money for that, not operational funds for that. One thing, and again, I'm very, very happy with the people that we've got. And we've got another one through Hellas, Hellas. That one's about $700,000. Because of
are they going to dig down because there's a water problem
Are they going
under
to fix
there?
the spring? That's the part that's
Well,
causing
yeah,
the problem.
we did that back in the day.
Tap
We
it.
dug a
and
drain
put
around the
top-
whole tennis
something.
court and
Yep.
did
Well,
all that
fix
stuff.
the problem,
going on, yeah.
and then there won't be another problem when we redo it.
So
Does
that's
that
why
make
it's
sense?
expensive.
yeah,
Do
and
what? Yeah, that would we could have an outdoor swimming pool. That would work. Fresh
I don't
water.
think
diving
Mr.
team.
Sizemore back there heard the same thing. But they roll those out, and I'm not asking right now for you to
It needs to be
to
fixed.
approve anything.
Yeah.
But removing the fence, vinyl coat perimeter, going through all of those things.
So you're talking $700,000, $600,000, $700,000 to renovate what we had.
Or $340,000 if we go asphalt instead of concrete. I mean, we're talking completely ripping up and putting down.
Yeah, I get
Do
it.
it all over
Not
again.
just
Like to
ceiling.
fix the
Yeah.
spring underneath.
Well,
I'm sure that would
that'd be
will
part of
have
it.
to be part of it.
Yep.
Um,
It just comes back.
But it is significant enough in my thought, and we've talked about, this floor down here is about, gym floor is about had its life cycle, but I think this is a much greater need. And again, I just wanted to start the discussion tonight. I wanted to get this in your heads, knowing that this is a large chunk of change, but this isn't just something that we utilize in only us. PE classes, the community, but where we may be fortunate because it is such a hub for the community, there may be opportunities through the community foundation that we want to explore further. And that's why I want to start the discussion, but not bring to you for approval, because there are other areas that we would like to explore. I know Mr. Sizemore is looking through USTA to help fund part of it. So we want to put a package together that is very comprehensive, that will get us the best quality that we can, but partner with community foundation, potentially other outside organizations, the school corporation, because it is a community center. But I want to bring that to your attention. And Mr. Sizemore, I'm gonna call on you for a minute. Is there anything as tennis coach,
I know you want like
both
10,
the boys and
Yeah,
girls
let's
that you would like to add?
With Jack here as well, Jack Hopper, he's our junior high coach. He has 30 kids. We have 16 in the girls right now. Boys season, we're looking at 50, and 25 to 30. We have some of the biggest numbers with 5 courts. During the boys season, it's a lot harder for us because there's no daylight for half of the season. We're dealing with sun going down at 6:30, 7 o'clock. So lights would have to be a part of this. New Albany will give us their lights from their courts at New Albany High School. The superintendent says, they're yours. you want it. They're getting ready to get a whole new facility put in. It's supposed to be this summer, and they will give us all of their lights. We would just have to pay for the hookup, the installation, but that could save hundreds of thousands of dollars right there. The USDA will give $150,000. Would have been $200,000 last year, but they dropped it down to $150,000 this year. They will, or well, they've already done Du Bois County, Jeffersonville. There was and Ferdinand, Forest Park. Their courts giving them $150,000. All we have to do is apply and show that we are willing to put funds towards the facilities, and they will write a check. They also have other opportunities for us to raise funds where they will pay for us to run community programs throughout the nights during the summer. They want more people playing pickleball and tennis. So we've already signed up for all of this. They will come in and donate free tennis rackets, equipment, everything to the PE teachers, and they will pay the PE teachers to go through like a 4-hour class with them. All of Jeffersonville has done this, and they were featured at the US Open because of it. So there are really good opportunities out there for us to continue growing this, continue growing it in our schools. They would, I would want pickleball lines put on those courts as well, because we have tons of people using it for pickleball on the weekends.
If we, just talking out loud, if we up that to 10 courts, possibly a new grant, would that, would USDA give more money?
Probably. I'd be all for that. Yeah.
If we had the 5 courts down here as they were for practice, because the practice time is what we run into. On Fridays, we practice with 75 kids on 5 courts at the same time. Okay, when he has a match tomorrow, we get 45 minutes of practice time before his match. So that's what it really comes down to, is more of a practice time. And we have worked tremendously. We took a whole day just this year, pressure washed all of the courts multiple days to do that. They're still in horrible condition. We filled some of the cracks ourselves. I did some research, found some crack filler things. We had parts of the court that's flopping up that we glued down. That'll only last temporarily. What else? We put the wind screens up. We've done, it'll get us through the season. If I was another coach and coming in and saw those courts and we're going to play on those courts for sectional, I would be like, no, is there a better opportunity? Maybe someplace else to play.
Courts and asphalt or concrete now?
I think they're asphalt on top of concrete. The way they are now.
Is there a benefit to one or the other? Because one of the bids was
I didn't
always
know you could
$400,000.
just do one or the other. I thought you had to do both. I don't know, but there are courts as well, like South Central has and Beacon Eastern. It's one big roll that they roll down on. And who else? New Washington has those as well. New Washington's got new courts.
The difference between the quotes, the concrete is post-tension concrete, so it's a newer technology that is supposed to allow the concrete to move, and they put an under mesh that's in there that allows when that water intrusion begins to happen, will allow the concrete to slowly move. I'm not a technical expert, but that is why
up, like if you go through the quote in full, you'll see a mesh layer is provided, and that concrete allows, as you know, you have water intrusion, which is why most of these companies are passing on our bids. But you also realistically don't cracks of what you're talking about. So it just,
Both of the pitch technologies, the quotes do have,
Furnish and install drainage pipe and those kinds of things.
How big an item was that?
400 feet of drainage,
Yeah.
probably all throughout the court.
So if it was built in a different place, we might not have to have the special concrete. Maybe.
It's not a floodplain.
Yeah, I don't.
have to get it.
Everything runs off that hill.
It comes down right
right
through there.
underneath.
Mhm.
I don't know
Well,
that we're
we're
qualified
talking
to
here.
make that
You're in a creek
determination.
bottom.
That would have to be an engineer or somebody that can give that information.
Yeah.
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 Oh, of course it would. Yeah, absolutely. But you want to double the size of your courts too. You'd want to go 10. I mean, if you're going to build them,
If we were gonna build them, I would wanna do 10.
of course you would.
At least 8.
Yeah.
So we can hold, tournaments and actually, help give back to the schools, raising funds that way.
Yeah, I get it, but but before you do anything, you got to put the infrastructure in there. You got to put electric, you got to put water, you got to put sewage, you got to put all that in there first.
Build your bus compound.
Build your bus.
Build your bus compound.
There's other things we'd like to put over there too, and that would be one of those things that we certainly look at. Certainly, softball people are going to be talking to us too.
And the bus
but
compound.
it's tennis tonight, okay? You're on tonight, shoot.
But
Oh, yay.
You got sectional coming up too, right?
Yeah, we just beat our.
Sectional flow.
real opponent.
Okay. All right.
And it is an fairly immediate need.
I get it.
But it needs to be more discussion because we need to figure out exactly what the funding might look like and some other avenues. But I wanted to make sure we started here and continue it as we go over the next couple of months.
Okay, thank you. Number 25, approve the resignation of Robert Smith as sixth grade girls basketball coach. Could I have a motion and second to approve?
I'll make a motion. We approve the resignation of Robert Smith, sixth grade girls basketball coach.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
I did want to thank Robert for doing that for several years. How many years did Robert do that, Tara?
3.
How many?
3.
3 years. Thank you, Robert Smith, for doing that. That's a tough job coaching at any level.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Approve the resignation of Jason Simler as seventh grade boys basketball coach. Could I have a motion and second to approve?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
Any discussion?
Like to thank Jason too. Jason does a good job.
Mhm.
And I hate to see him go. I know he's moving on with his son, probably moving up a little bit. And I know Carson's going to be a freshman and want to watch his daughter play. But I just want to thank personally Jason.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Number 27, approve Cassandra Cruz as high school cheer coach for the 2026-2027 school year. Could I have a motion and second to approve?
I'll make a motion. We approve Cassandra Cruz as high school cheer coach for next school year.
I'll second it.
Any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Number 28, approve Sean Crothers and Chris Van Hoos as boys basketball freshman C team for the 2025-2026 year. We'll split stipend.
That was this past season.
Correct.
Okay. Yeah.
Good.
I'll approve. I'll make the motion. We approve that.
And do I have a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes.
What if he wins that house?
Approve the following fundraisers. Class of 2028 fundraiser
That's
pickleball
Chris.
tournament at 5 p.m. on Saturday, May 9th, 2026. FFA to auction baskets and FFA officers at FFA annual banquet. FFA annual greenhouse sale May 4th through the 17th. Could I have a motion and second to approve those 3 fundraisers?
I'll make a motion to approve all 3 of those fundraisers.
Any discussion?
Oh, wait.
I'll second.
Okay, oh, sorry, second. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Okay, number 30, approve the disposal of elementary principal's desk. Could I have a motion and second to approve?
I'll make a motion.
We dispose of the old elementary principal's desk. She has a new one.
What are you gonna do? You gonna sit on the floor or what? What's gonna happen to you? Already put it in there? So you got, well, you got this desk in the back of your car, or where is it? Back of Smith's car? What is it? What's the problem? What, I don't understand. What are we doing? I'll second it.
Was that your old desk?
It probably was. I'm sure I had it. It's that pressed wood job. It's not very, it's okay. All right, yeah. Well, 65, oh, come on.
George Williams.
Yeah, do we have a motion and second?
We do.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Okay, number 31, additional public comments. I've got first is Leslie Holdridge.
Okay.
Good evening, members of the board and Lanesville community. I stand before you today on behalf of our teachers union, not in opposition, but in partnership, because at the heart of everything we do is the same shared goal: a strong, thriving school community where students succeed and educators are supported in doing their best work. That kind of community is built on 3 essential pillars: trust and transparency, hard work and accountability, and a commitment to reflection. First, trust and transparency. Trust is not something that can be assumed. It is built through consistent, honest communication. Our educators show up every day committed to their students, and they deserve to be included in the decisions that shape their classrooms and their profession. Transparency from leadership about expectations, challenges, and changes creates an environment where collaboration can take root. When teachers feel informed and respected, trust follows. And when trust exists, progress becomes possible. Second, hard work and accountability. There's no question that our teachers work hard, often beyond contracted hours, beyond expectations, and sometimes beyond what is sustainable. Even now, many of our teachers could not be here because they're coaching youth leagues or cheering on their own children or even yours as our students. But accountability must be shared. Educators hold themselves accountable for student growth, for professional development, and for continuous improvement. In return, we ask that the systems, leadership, and policies are also held accountable, ensuring that expectations are realistic and resources are adequate, and that decisions are made with the classrooms in mind. Accountability should never be one-sided. It must be mutual to be meaningful. Finally, reflection. Education is not static. It evolves, and so must we. Reflection allows us to learn from what's working and what isn't. Our union believes in continuous improvement, not just for teachers, but for the entire system. That means being willing to listen, to adjust, and to sometimes change course. Reflection is not a sign of weakness. It is a sign of commitment to getting it right. As a union, we are not here simply to advocate. We are here to collaborate. We want to be part of the solutions, part of the progress, and part of a culture where every single voice matters. But that requires a foundation of trust, a shared sense of accountability, and an openness to reflect and grow together. Our educators are ready to do that work. We ask that you stand with us in building the kind of environment where that work can truly succeed. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good job, ladies. Thank you.
Next up is Michael Sizemore.
You again? I'm just joking. You don't even. Don't say
Okay. Thank you all for your time. I'm speaking up today because really kind of embarrassed about what has been going on here. I come to you as a person to express my concerns for the state of the school and the community that it surrounds. A lot of statements are being made, but we have no knowledge of what is going on. The information we get is on Facebook. There are outsiders making comments on Facebook. There are insiders making comments on Facebook. As a media person who makes his living using social media and their company using social media to spread good stories and positive stories, it really kind of ticks me off seeing how negative this community has become, how it has separated all of us, and a lot of it has to do with what is going on in the schools. Our community has always been about support. It has been very supportive. Outsiders come in, they move in, we support them, we welcome them. Kids coming from other schools, they come here for a reason. It's because of the community. Well, I found out this week, 2 of my tennis players are not coming back. One of them is going to homeschool. The other one, who already had in the starting lineup for next year, he's going to Christian Academy. And when I asked the parents why for both of them, they said it's because of the animosity that they are seeing in the school. They are seeing a lot of bickering. They're being asked to be brought in to choose one side or the other, and they're scared that no matter what side they choose, their kid is not going to be treated the way they should be treated because of how they decide. So that has scared them, and they're pulling them out. I've heard this from other parents that have not made that decision yet, but are discussing it, and these are very well-known community members that their entire families have been here at Lanesville, and they're talking about pulling their kids out right now. My loyalty is not to one side or the other. Okay, yes, the company I work for does marketing for the school, but I fought to do that marketing for the school because my loyalty is to the school and to the kids that are in this school. That's the only reason why I coach. Okay, this guy right here is one reason why I moved back after being gone for 17 years. Because I feel like he's a mentor to me. And for the respect that he gave me all the way through 5th grade on up to graduation to now, I respect that, and I want that for every student that comes through Lanesville. This community's changed a lot in the past, I'd say 2 months, 3 months, and goes back a little bit further, but it's really changed recently. I see people fighting on social media. I see, and I should never see this, teachers, staff, members of the school
making comments on social media. That should never happen. It should not even be allowed. Really, there should be a social media policy that is drawn up that says that that should not be allowed. Because all that does, that attributes to others to respond. Their families are going to respond. And next thing you know, we're breaking up the community. Then it leads to other organizations within our school that feel the need to make additional accusations. So now you have organizations that are supposed to be supporting the school that really aren't supporting them. I see the color purple being displayed on some people's social media pages as like a purple out. Listen, that's purple pride, okay? That is to be used for Lanesville, not against Lanesville, okay? From organizations that feel that they can use the color purple as a weapon. There's a banner hanging right outside those doors that discusses pride. And that's what purple pride is about. And unless you've got a tattoo, okay, that shirt can be removed at any moment. That purple can be pulled right off of your social media. It should not be used as a weapon by any means. When we're in sports, okay, we're using it to represent our school. Represent, not fight against our school. We use it to fight against other schools as we go to battle. Every time we step out there on the court, in the fields, whatever it is. Be respectful of the colors that we wear. Last month, Dr. Apple gave a fantastic report, a great presentation that we should have been celebrating when we came out of. And by the way, I didn't write that, okay? That's the rumor, by the way. Did you know that? That I wrote that or somebody from Pro Media Group wrote that for you?
No, I don't do any social media.
Yes. So if we would have wrote it, it would have been written in a manner that thanks the teachers and the staff. That was the only thing that was missing from that. The statistics were amazing. I didn't know how high we ranked for all of those years. And all of that goes to the teachers, the staff, the school board, everyone here. But we couldn't celebrate it at all. It was delivered as a defense. No one up here should have to be defending anything. It should be reporting to the community on the positives that are going on inside the school. Otherwise, we can't sell this school to anyone. So I was really embarrassed. I lost a lot of sleep when I came out of that meeting last month. I tried making a lot of phone calls afterwards because I'm a fixer. I want to fix problems. I want to get people together and try to work it out and see how we can really attribute this negative and this negative, bring them together and make a positive out of it. So I asked school board members, I asked staff, I asked teachers. I tried to reach out to anyone. All I was told was come to this meeting tonight and I would get more information. I still have no clue what is going on. I just know statements have been made. I've seen things on social media I've blocked people on social media now. There's been no solutions. So I'm trying to do research. That's what I do. If you look at my social media, it's all rainbows and sunshines and grandkids and, just having a great time. That's the way it should be played out. We don't use social media as a weapon. Don't do it in your businesses. Don't do it as an organization. Don't do it as a person. I care about this school. I care about what goes on to this school. It takes one negative to outweigh 10 positives that go on in this school. So really, I challenge all of you all to come together, stop the rumors, work together, fix the problems behind the scenes. Do not bring the students in on this, because they've come to me at practice and said, hey, do you know what's going on at the school board meeting tonight? Because I've been asked to come and represent, and that should never happen. The students should never be brought into this. They have enough that's going on in their lives to use the students as a weapon as well. So again, let's please stop the animosity. Let's try to work together. Let's do our research, find out solutions before we start posting things out on social media or commenting on something. And let's be supportive of each other, as this community has always been. Otherwise, we won't have to worry about new school or new tennis courts or anything, because we're going to lose all of our kids. They're going to be going to other schools, as they already are right now. And that's just not something I'm willing to let happen. I will fight for this school. I will fight for all of you all. And it sounds like I'm running for as a politician up here or something, but that's not it. I'm serious. If you need help with anything, if you want a mediator or a moderator, I'll be that person. I'd be happy to help try to find solutions. If you need me to do research, make phone calls. If you need a plumber, I've got a guy, okay? Don't be scared to ask. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sizemore.
Okay, there's no other additional comments. So number 32 is adjournment.
Ryan.
Oh.
Aaron knows, grandson playing. I wish everyone would drive down the lane. Now you got to remember that I know 7th, 8th grade middle baseball and softball is not sanctioned by the school in any way, shape, or form, and no responsibility. But it is a feeder program to our high school baseball and softball teams. It's an absolutely embarrassment. I'd rather than go out to a cow pasture and play the game than go down to field one and play. It's not kept up. I don't know if the school can have any influence on it. I don't know if the high school field could be shared in a way where these kids can have a realistic experience of what they're going to face when they go to the high school home. It is absolutely terrible. If anyone hasn't been down there to go to field one, go down to field one. Ryan, we can play over to mom and dad now, but they do that. That's what they do. So I don't know if there's anything that can be done with sharing the high school fields and practices and all games. I know that we do have, I think, 4 games scheduled down there. If you go to all these other schools, Washington, you go to those schools, they've got pre-roll field with the middle school kids playing. I'm embarrassed. I really am. You talk about perfect pride, that is not perfect pride. I'm gonna tell you that right now. No representing the school.
Just a very quick question. I know a few years ago, my oldest son always played middle school baseball here. They play one game down there, but the majority
Of the home games are on the high school field. Do they not have any scheduled on the high school field?
They have four down there already. You know, you go to Clarksville, we play Rock Creek, Clarksville, Little Lake Field the other night. Thousands of dollars. They're top notch. Clarksville has two days now. Parkway, put that mark down there. Right down there. Get it lined up, concrete, not brick, anything bricked up. East of the middle field, I mean, it's embarrassing. That's reflective, trust me, that's reflective on this school. Both the middle school, Lakeville, it's
Can-
not seventh grade, eighth grade play ball. It's represented.
Can you do me a favor? Can you send me their schedule?
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Okay, number 32, adjournment. Can I have a motion and second?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.